Hey, what's up, guys? This is Big Russ with Road Trip and RC, and today we're going to talk shocks. We're not talking crawler shocks because, I mean, that's running a stock shock in the front, aftermarket shock in the back, no oil. Stock shock, stock shock with an auxiliary. But we're talking about my Tamiya. And basic upgrades, right? So, right here, I've got the stock plastic Tamiya shock. Some no names either off of Ollie or Timu. And then these actually have a name. It's Asima. But the sticker sheet I got is option one, which I gotta admit, the Flame logo is very early 2000s hot boy race car, Fast and Furious. I actually dig some of these graphics. One of them may make it onto the BRZ. But anybody who's built a TTO2 knows that the stock shocks suck. Now, as a builder goes, these are one of the easiest I've put together because it's literally just a couple pieces. And just like that, I've broken it down. I've got my top mount. I've got my E-clip that has a pin in it. And you see how it got its name. It looks like an E. I've got the top half. I've got the shaft shock, or shock shaft, and then the spring. And to assemble it, you literally slide these together and give it a quarter twist. Like, that's it. Then you line your hole up with the hole here and press your E-clip in place. Okay, is it effective? Yes. Does it offer dampening? Yes. Does it offer rebound? Yes. Does it suck? Yes. The only way you can tune these is with different spring rates and different mounting points on the chassis. Okay, moving to these no names. Okay, they have a nice firm feel to take them apart so you can change out like your rod end or your shock mount. You slide the spring up and pop the clip out. Okay, it's kind of a pain. Um, these, I was actually shocked. No pun intended. So, these are bone dry. Okay. I don't know how well the seals, if there is even a seal, would handle any kind of oil outside of, I don't know, molasses. Um, there's no O-ring on here. Okay, that is just a molded piece. These weren't very expensive. I think I paid less than $10. Okay. These guys, on the other hand, I was actually pleasantly surprised. And it's, I don't know if you can see, but they actually have oil in them. I had cracked this one open just to take a look. So very similar design. to change out the spring rates or your springs. You slide the spring up, pop this little collar off. Boom, there's your spring. Okay. What surprised me with this kit, I got extra ends. I didn't get extra balls, but I've got hardware to mount them. And as you can see, this black piece is actually an O-ring. You see how shiny that is? Oh, excuse me. I'm going to compare it to the blue one. You see the difference here? Unreal. Okay. Give me a second and I'll tell you how much I paid for these. So these shocks were $13. Okay. So anybody who says, getting into RCs is an expensive hobby, it's really not. You're the one who makes it expensive. Okay. If you look back on the channel, you will see I built this truck for pretty cheap. Granted, I had some of the pieces necessary for it. I had to buy other pieces, right? But let me grab it. Like, I built this for under 200 bucks. I could have saved even more money by not buying these. The shell, or the chassis and the body, okay, were less than $40. So if you jump on Facebook Marketplace and find a TRX 4M dirt cheap and you want something a little different, a little cooler, 40 bucks on Amazon, okay. And then they came out with new colors, so there's, you don't have to go like I did, right? It's not a contest. I mean, it really wasn't. It was just us having fun. But I could have used the stock shocks. I did use stock axles. I used a lot of stock parts because that's part of the deal. Like, hey, I've got a budget. I can't spend a ton of money, but these are stock parts on the front. So yeah, you can have fun in RC without spending a grip of money. Out on my TTO2, the most expensive part has been my radio. And I bought that on Amazon for, I think, 80, 90 bucks. And that's the receiver that's in Chameleon. I bought another receiver. It was 20 bucks because it had a gyro built in. These shocks. Like I said, I don't remember. I think I paid less than $10 for these. And I'm sure they'd be fine if I knew that I could get away with some decent oil and not molasses. The fact that it's not sealed on the top. Okay, so it does have an O-ring and then a plastic seal that butts up to the shock body. The only concern I have is the top end now. I still have to find the fourth one of these. It's somewhere in our craft room. I don't know where it went. I've looked. Um, but the fact that there's no O-ring on the shaft or on the shock body bothers me. There, I don't, I can't tell what material it is. It feels plastic. Um, and that's not a deal breaker by any means when you're buying shocks, guys. We're not building rocket ships. We're building a toy car that'll do 20, 30 mile an hour. Yes, I know there's guys who built some that go 100 plus, and I want to be one of those guys. I'm not in that tax bracket. That's kind of why I stick with the crawlers. I got the TTO2 that I need to do some shakedowns on. Crawlers are actually fairly cheap to get into and run. They do get expensive when you get into the bigger stuff. The little guys like the TRX4Ms, the SCX 24s, the Fusion 18, or not the Fusion, I'm sorry, the Red Cat Ascent 18s. Like all these smaller scale trucks, 18th scale, which, I mean, that fits in my hand. There's a huge size difference. But we can make this hobby as expensive as we want, as cheap as we want. These I think were $30. These are actually Proline bead locks. They're plastic. I've thought about swapping these onto these wheels onto these tires, just so this truck is more functional because these wheels are so damn heavy. You know, I paid less than $20 for a big bag of brass for that. Shocks can be expensive. They don't have to be if they do the job you need them to do. I know I kind of went off on a tangent here. That's a $100 kit. Will my $13 shocks make a difference in said kit? Probably. The biggest difference that I can make with these on that is changing the oil out, changing the spring rates, and that's where things can get pricey and get expensive because I'm buying, you know, a bottle of shock oil that's this big for $10 to $20. I know my paint is a horrible, horrible idea because $6.50 comparison, but a bottle that size is like $10 to $20 at the part store or at the auto, hobby shops. Spring rates or springs can get pricey. You just have to find what fits, what works, you know, adjusting the preload. The only way you can really change the ride height with your shocks, aside from your mounting points, right? So the lower your top is, or your top mount, the lower it pushes your lower mount down, okay? Is to change out your springs to no springs, soft springs. Like, I actually like the feel of that. These other springs I have that came with the kit are, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the difference is in feel. And we'll go side by side. See which one's easier to squish and which one's harder to squish. Off the bat, they are shorter. Okay. So this being a shorter setup, is going to lower my ride height a hair. In terms of stiffness, these are softer because there's more area for the spring to compress, where these are stiffer because there's less area. Okay, I know it doesn't make sense, but it does. Um, when you look at automotive shocks or automotive springs, the taller the spring, the softer it generally is. But I quite fond of that. I think it feels good. I'm gonna put those on the TTO2 and have fun with that. That'll be an upcoming video. The next video will be working on that thing because I've got to find the other two of my DJ or my RC Lions on my Canyon Trails. I absolutely love this setup over what's on there. What's on there sucks. I've had better luck with these. Definitely gonna have to get some different wheels for these tires, because these tires are actually not horrible. It's the wheel that sucks. So, but I've been Big Russ. This is supposed to be a quick shorty, but it is what it is. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.